I have the Pinal County Attorney, Brad Miller's with me. We're just going to be kind of chit-chatting about the end results of some of our cases.
I'm here to answer any questions that you or your audience have.
Right on. And you're busy.
Oh, yeah. Very, very busy, especially with traffic cases, really.
See your driver's license, please.
Yes, sir. Can I ask what you pull over for?
Absolutely. As soon as I see your driver's license, I will be very happy to tell you.
That's not how it works. Can you tell, first of all, what's your name and your badge number?
I'm sorry. I do this for a living. You don't. I tell you how this works. Let me see your driver's license or I'm going to pull you out of your car and arrest you for failing to provide ID.
All right, so episode 33, as far as the trolls go, is probably the #1 troll commented episode of Fridays with Frank ever. It's kind of seemingly not a big deal for a stop, got him on laser.
Their TikTok law degree.
Yes. Yeah, graduate from YouTube law degree and tire center.
Yes.
So big thing. So I stop him, guy. I ask him for his driver's license. He says, more or less, no, tell me why you stopped.
Yep.
I immediately tell him, just because of his tone and I could see the direction that the contact was going, immediately requested and eventually demand that he produce evidence of identity because he's driving a car and committed a traffic violation. So YouTube law and the trolls of the internet say that I'm violating his rights and I can't do that and I have to tell him why I stopped him. And I have always maintained that you don't in the state of Arizona. And I'm sure it varies from state to state, but in the state of Arizona, where this offense took place, that I have it's always been my belief that I have absolutely no requirement to tell him absolutely anything about my reason for stop, who I am, anything, and that I merely do it as a courtesy.
Yeah. When you see a violation of traffic, whether it be a felony, a misdemeanor, criminal, or civil offense, you do not have to tell them why you're pulling them over. You do not have to tell them anything. You can demand their ID, and if they don't give you ID immediately, that's actually a misdemeanor offense in Arizona, and you can actually arrest them. You can pull them out of the car and arrest them.
And that's what I told him. That's exactly what I told him I was going to do. And he seemed offended.
Do you normally threaten to pull people out of the car just for them asking why they got pulled over?
100% when they refuse to provide identification like you did.
But isn't that a secondary offense? Arizona's not a stop and ID state. I asked you why I was being pulled over.
That's correct.
And you didn't want to tell me until I use it as a predecessor.
That's correct, because I need to know who I'm talking to first.
Well, hold on a second.
I could pull you out of your car, place handcuffs on you, book you into the Pinal County bed and breakfast, as the sheriff likes to call it, just for the simple offense of failing to provide evidence of identity.
That's right.
And the people on the internet lost their minds about that.
What do you think they had a problem with specifically? What rights do they think that they had? A right to not identify themselves when they're driving on a road? No, it's a requirement. It's not a violation of a constitutional right. It's not a violation of their civil rights, because civil rights don't apply in criminal cases. That's another thing I think people confuse of.
That guy mentioned that. He's like, you're violating criminal and civil rights.
Well, hold on a second.
Go ahead.
Per civil rights and laws.
Okay.
And unless I am being arrested, or unless I'm being
failing to provide evidence of identity is a criminal offense.
No, it's a secondary offense.
Doesn't matter.
It is.
It's an offense.
It doesn't. Officer Sloup, if you will let me speak, and then I'll let you speak. Is that all right?
No.
And I was like, I don't think that applies. But I'm not an expert on civil rights. It's not anything that we really deal with.
Well, I deal with it all the time, and it's certainly not a violation of a civil right, because the way civil rights are defined are by statute. Okay. If an officer is allowed to demand your ID, then it can't be a violation of a civil right to demand ID. That makes no sense.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's that simple. Internet trolls, 0.
Yes.
Frank Sloup, 1.
Yes, I need that. I'll take that. I'll take that.
As if you needed that, right?
I'll take any win I can get.
Everybody goes 60 and nobody ever gets pulled over for that.
Okay, I feel like that's a pretty gross generalization spoken from a pulpit of misknowledge.
All right, so episode 63 is the guy that was filming me. I called it Pulpit of Misknowledge because that's what I told him he was speaking from while he was trying to affirm a defense for his speeding on the side of the road.
What was his defense?
That everyone speeds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the defense was everyone speeds.
I didn't find that one in an ARS. Yeah,
I did.
Okay.
How did you clock?
Radar, certified calibrated radar. It's a no, you may not, and it's only because it's mounted in my vehicle, and I have a lot of sensitive stuff, both information on my computer and weapons and stuff in my vehicle.
Can I just look through the window at it?
Would you like to?
Yes, I would.
Absolutely. Hop on out. So if you notice right there, your top speed is, after you passed me, was 60, and as I was catching up with you, I locked in the speed.
Yeah, you could have been anybody. I wasn't going 60.
Well, the radar says otherwise, sir.
A very common question that I get is, hey, can I see your radar gun? Which obviously I don't use a radar gun because it's mounted in my car. And obviously as a member of the SWAT team, I have a ton of guns in here. I don't let people come jump in my car and drive away.
It's probably a wise move. Yeah.
The answer is 99% of the time the answer is no.
Yeah.
But while I have you here, because trolls love this, is there any requirement in the state of Arizona for me to show someone my radar with a number flashing so that they can see it?
No. You're dealing with an individual, from my recollection, that had no record, no issues. And so oftentimes on their first civil offense, you can actually go just take traffic school and get that entire ticket wiped out. And that's in fact what this particular individual did.
Okay. When was the last time you were smoking?
Probably earlier today.
Okay. So I'm Deputy Sloup. I work for the Pinal County Sheriff's Office Traffic Unit. The reason I stopped you is your plates are expired in March.
All right, so episode 69 is a Santan Valley episode. Again, another daytime drug-impaired driver. The guy's car smelled like weed. My first approach, he had a roach in his ashtray, and then when I went back, he didn't have it.
Yeah.
Tried to get rid of it, which didn't hide the fact that his car smelled like a dispensary.
Hey, you got rid of that little roach that was in the center console there. I got you. Step on up over here. All right. Obviously, walked up. Smells like weed in the car. What time did you smoke this morning?
So we spent our time together. I processed him for DUI, drew his blood, and then released him with charges pending the blood test. Blood came back with the active marijuana metabolite in his body. And then I submitted charges to your office, and I've never heard a single word about it.
He was also driving on, I believe, his license. Either his license was suspended or his plates.
Yeah.
He had a plate issue.
Yep.
So what that does is it takes it from a regular DUI to what's called an aggravated DUI. It steps up the criminal penalties and the fines. But there's a reason why you haven't heard anything, because we haven't heard anything. We're actually looking for him. He's on bench warrant status.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, that makes sense.
if any of your audience knows where he is, please give us a call. We would love to know where he is. We would love to have a polite conversation with him and get him back. That would be nice.
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't mind meeting him again.
Yeah, I think we should.
Hey, see your driver's license.
I don't have one.
Why not? Okay, sorry, I just couldn't see your hands. I don't like it when I
I'm
can't see people's
sorry,
hands.
I'm pregnant right now. I'm not supposed to be driving. I had to drop him off home.
Okay.
Yeah, I literally live
Wait, you're
right
pregnant? You're not supposed to be driving?
That's what I was told. You're not supposed to be driving if you're pregnant. That's what I was told.
I don't know if I've ever heard that before.
Really?
I've known a lot of pregnant people.
So episode 93 is another kind of crowd favorite. It's the 14-year-old driver. The women of the internet were adamant that even though you're pregnant, that you could drive a car. So there were a lot of comments. Sam said that the women came out in force saying that even though you're pregnant, that you can drive.
That's right. She said she couldn't drive because she was pregnant, right? Yeah, that's right.
So she had the 14-year-old driver with no driver's license drive.
Okay.
And why don't you have a license?
I'm 14.
You're 14. Okay, and ma'am, is this your car?
It's my fiance's.
Your fiance? Okay. So, and who is this to you?
He is like family.
He's my cousin.
Okay. So,
Because she lives at the apartment,
Yeah.
she told me she couldn't drive, so I was just coming to my house and she's getting picked
I
up.
know. I just heard I'm not supposed to be driving when I'm pregnant. I wasn't sure. But
How old are you?
Me, I'm 18.
okay.
I mean, I literally have the pregnancy test right here.
My house is a minute, like, just down.
What I did was I wrote the driver, the 14-year-old driver, for the civil violation for not having a driver's license, and then some other civil violations. I wrote the passenger, the 18-year-old passenger, because she was an adult and she had a unlicensed minor operate the motor vehicle. I issued her the criminal cite for that violation.
The other thing I'm doing is I'm towing your car and I'm impounding it for 20 days. And I'm impounding it because Arizona law says if you've never had a driver's license, which you haven't, you can't drive unless it's an emergency situation, like you are on the way to the hospital and someone is actively bleeding out in your passenger seat. Except for that, and that isn't this, you can't drive. Just because someone says, hey, can you drive me? You need to say, no, I don't have a valid driver's license.
First, under Arizona law, pregnant women are allowed to drive. That's okay.
I thought
you
so.
did right.
I thought
so just to check you on that. Regarding the 14-year-old, the driver, he was responsible and paid a fine for the civil traffic violation.
Okay.
And then, of course, the adult, the 18-year-old, she took responsibility and pled on the criminal case.
Okay.
Yeah, so it ended up being a fine. And hopefully she learned her lesson that pregnant women are allowed to drive.
That was long enough.
Maybe that was what she needed to be informed that she was allowed to.
That's
I
it.
don't know.
Get a little time with someone in a black robe.
That's true.
Thank you so much for jumping on
Absolutely.
the passenger seat. I appreciate not only the conversation, but all that information that you have about cases, about what happens between your building and the court that's right next door, and kind of a little bit of insight into what the county attorney's office does. So thank you, man.
Yeah, hopefully people see the hard work that you do, what we do as part of our office, and ultimately we're here to keep people safe, keep Pinal County safe.
I love it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Man.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.